In this video, I'm going to be doing a review of my SuperMax 2550 drum sander. I've already done a video on its assembly, so if you'd like to see that, click on the link in the description below. Before I get started in the review, let's talk a little bit about what a drum sander actually is. It basically works the same way as a thickness planer, but instead of a cutter head with blades meant to remove a lot of material quickly, it has a drum with sandpaper wrapped around it. So you're not going to remove a lot of material super fast, but you're going to do it very carefully. So with highly figured lumber, for example, you're going to be able to go through that, smooth it all down without tearing any of that grain out. This is really useful in projects like in-grain cutting boards and where your projects are already assembled, like cabinet doors. Now let's take a closer look at some of the specs right off of the SuperMax website. The sander measures 46 inches long, 26 inches wide, and 53 inches tall. The sanding drum on the machine is an extruded piece of aluminum that measures 25 inches long and 5 inches in diameter. It's driven by a 1 3/4 horse motor that runs at 115 volts. With the machine's cantilevered head, it can sand a piece up to 50 inches wide or 25 inches in one pass. The thickness of your workpiece can range from 0 all the way to 4 inches. The piece that you're sanding is pulled through the machine by an abrasive conveyor belt. The conveyor belt itself is powered by its own DC motor, which has a variable speed of 1 to 10 feet per minute. One feature of the conveyor motor is the IntelliSand, which is a technology that automatically adjusts the feed rate based on load. You set the speed of the conveyor motor and then feed in your stock. If the machine encounters any difficulty, it will automatically kick on the IntelliSand, slowing it down to a better speed, which is indicated by the red light turning on. The sander is designed to be used in conjunction with a dust collector with a minimum of 600 CFM. The hose attaches to a 4-inch dust port on the top of the machine. I use a small portable dust collector that I got from Harbor Freight, which works perfect, and a jet air filter that catches any dust that escapes from the sander. Now let's talk about the sander's function. When I'm not using it, I keep it tucked against the wall, and it only sticks out the distance of the width of the sander, which is 26 inches. The closed base comes with wheels in each corner, which allow it to roll side to side. These wheels lock in place with threaded knobs that keep it secure when the sander is in use. On a hard surface like my shop's basement floor, the sander is easily slid and rolled into place. The conveyor belt has a comfortable working height of 33 inches. Once I'm done using the sander, I put it back along the wall or anywhere else in my shop to have it out of the way. This compact size for its capacity comes in handy, but if you do need some additional support, extension tables are available. Due to having a small shop where space is limited, I keep these extension tables stored in the next room, but when I need them they can easily be popped on with 2 bolts in each table. With these extension tables attached, you basically double the total area of support of the sander. This comes in especially handy when sanding larger objects like tabletops. While we're on the topic of sanding a tabletop, I'll go ahead and touch again on the cantilevered head. This open-end design of the sander allows you to sand pieces up to 50 inches wide. This particular tabletop is 42 inches wide, so there's even an additional 8 more inches that you could sand in 2 passes to get this tabletop smoothed up. What you do is you make a pass through one direction and then flip the tabletop and sand down the other side. Well, here's a demonstration of using the sander to sand down a piece of rough sawn stock. This is a 2-inch thick piece of sassafras, 10 to 12 inches wide. The steps are adjust the head of the sander to just over the thickness of whatever it is you're sanding, in this case 2 inches. So I started out with about 2 1/16. Then I bring the head down until it starts to make contact with the piece of wood. The first step is to just turn on the conveyor belt and adjust it to whatever speed you want the feed to be, and then flip the sander on. Once you do get down to where you are cutting wood, then you slowly start to take more and more off until you get down to that desired thickness or surface finish. So this board is just a demo piece, so let's look at something that was an actual project. This is a sassafras crotch. It's the same lumber I just demonstrated with, but on a crotch in particular, the grain is really going to kind of tie together and kind of go in all different directions, and that's where a planer would tend to want to kind of tear some of that grain out. But a sander does a really good job at just smoothing it all down without disturbing the grain. Another great use for drum sanders is sanding things that are already assembled, such as face frames or cabinet doors. In this case, these are cherry face frames, and these ash shelves were both run through the sander to smooth them out and flush all the parts up. After using the sander, you're going to get buildup in the sandpaper that you're going to want to remove, and that's going to keep you from burning any of your pieces that you're sanding in the future. You can do that using a sanding belt cleaner, which is basically like a big eraser. You turn on the sander and just run it across, and then you can focus on any little spots that are a little more sort of clogged up than other areas. Another common task is going to be changing out the sandpaper on your machine to a different grit. In this case, I'm going from 220 to 80 grit, but all different kind of grits are available. With this particular machine, you undo the paper at the motor side and then work your way across, rolling it up and undo the clip on the opposite side of the drum. The sandpaper that I'm using are pre-cut pieces where the tapers on both ends are already cut and it's cut to length. You start by putting one of the ends of that roll into the little clip on the opposite side of the motor. You want to make sure that the tapered cut is against the edge of the drum. From there, you roll the sandpaper around the drum, keeping it tight and the edges of each spiral close together. Once you reach the other side of the drum, you insert the other tapered end into the other clip. This clip both holds the paper and pulls it tight to make sure that it doesn't slip over itself and cause any problems in sanding. And it's pretty convenient to store all of your sandpaper and other supplies inside the closed base. Another accessory that's available for this machine is a DRO, which means a digital readout. This basically digitally tells you how high the sanding drum is and allows you to create repeatable, accurate results. So in closing for this video, I want to touch a little bit about my thoughts on the sander. In general, it works great. For having such a large capacity, it's relatively compact. Paper changes are quick and easy, pre-cut rolls are available, and in general, it makes a lot of the steps that I do in my shop very efficient. So I may be leaving some of you trying to decide whether or not this is the sander that you're looking for. I can't answer that question for you, but I can only say that in my shop where space is so limited that this tool has become a great asset. You're just going to have to look over its different capacities and the features that it offers and decide whether it fits your needs. Well, thank you all for joining me to the end of this video. I hope I answered all your questions, but if I didn't, let me know in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Since I'm not able to put this machine through every single scenario in a review video, I plan on doing other videos in the future showing more techniques using this machine. So if you want to see anything in particular, let me know in the comments below as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, click the red subscribe button and you will get updates when I post future videos. And if you'd like to see this sander be assembled, click the small video playing on the screen now. Thanks again.